we were taking some small arms fire when we came in, and they dropped us off really quick. Problem was, people were sitting on my legs, so I couldn't feel them. So when I stood up, my legs, I went to run, they gave out. And so a Scottish guy just grabbed the back of my vest like this and did one of these and just kicked me in the butt. And it was like, aye, off you go. And I was like, here we go. And so we went out, and then we waited until morning prayer. Because of the respect we have, we wait till they're done their morning prayers, then we kick their door in. And then I was told they're not going to use me. Oh, Burns, we haven't had women and kids around a lot. They've been leaving. I said, okay. They told me we're going to be out there a week. I was like, okay. First house. We need her. And I go. And it was my first experience of what 12 women and kids screaming and crying in a room by myself looks like. And that was being a mom now, I really wrestle with some of that stuff. I didn't then. I had no reference point. But being a mom now, I really wrestle with it.
Wrestle with what?
Kicking people's door in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. With your baby screaming and terrified. The level of trauma I've left in that country and the women and kids I encountered.
What were you looking for?
All we were told is we were looking for caches. Weapons, a lot of money, anything that would indicate people were working with the Taliban or anywhere near sort of IED, which are improvised explosive devices, any of those farms. And that's all I was told. And so if I were to find big wads of money, or I would have find cell phones and any of those things, I was like, bring them to them, like, okay, this is what I found, who I found it on. Mm-hmm. And so—
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, we found a lot. They hid stuff in women because they didn't think I'd be there to search them. Mm-hmm. And so
So does that help you reconcile yourself to what you did?
No.
Why not?
Because I still did the thing. I still inflicted the trauma. It was still a part of the pain. It doesn't erase it. It's there, though. So it's an uncomfortable feeling. It's something I've definitely worked on a lot, but it's definitely there. Like, kick my door in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's very immediate. Hey, what you're involved in is very immediate.
And it's like, bang. It's just like screaming and like madness and chaos. And, it's right after they're praying. It's dirty. It feels dirty. Like, I get why. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like we shouldn't have done it that way, but like shock and awe is how you don't get killed, right? It's like my buddy used to say to me, I'd be like, how did we lose so many more people than the SF? He's like, we move at night, we're quiet, and we get the job done and we leave. Conventional forces, we roll out at the same time every day. We go down the same road every day. We're sitting ducks. It's different. So anyway, you got to be quick and you got to be shock and awe a bit, right? So that's the tactic. And so we started doing that for a while, and that was going okay. I had a couple scuffles with men in the family thinking I was a boy going into a room. So we dealt with that a little bit, which is always fun. The interpreters didn't like that I was there. There's not a lot of respect for women, especially a female soldier. So that was an interesting relationship to kind of work around, if you will. And then we had a couple of situations. Wow, I would have done.
So that's an additional difficulty of being female in the armed forces in those countries.
Yeah. Absolutely, because if you're fighting a country that has little to no respect for women, by and large, across the board, depending on your level of extremism, you're going to be dealing with a different trust issue, right? So,
yes, well, I would imagine that you're particularly hated too.
Oh yeah, you could feel it. It like burns through you.
I bet.
Yeah, you can feel that, but that's okay. I equally hated them just as much, and I made sure they knew it. Mm-hmm. So again, this is where that masculine side switched on and there was no feminine left. And so within a couple days of being out on our on-foot operation, I was with—
except you said that it bothers you now that you're a mother.
It does bother me. I think it should bother anyone. You're a
human
being.
I'm not disputing that.
Oh, no, for sure. I just think that feels natural to me. I feel like if I were to say, I had no problem with what I did to those women and kids, I think that would be slightly sociopathic.
Yeah, right.
And I consider myself a painful empathy, like for a lot of people, especially, post psychedelics and really opening and doing work on myself. That kind of shell and heaviness isn't there anymore. That like need to protect my heart is not there anymore. Now it's like, painful all the time. Like right before we came here, there was a woman at lunch just yelling at her child. And I could see that she was stressed, but it was like watching the child take it. I stopped eating. I felt nauseous. Like I'm painfully empathetic now, and it's almost I almost wish it was a bit the other way. It's easier.
How much of that do you think is a consequence of becoming a mother? I mean, that's a big change.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it's as much as I thought it would be, because when I had my son, I wasn't well yet. So there was still that hardened part there. And thank God it happened so early, where he couldn't remember what I was like. He gets to see happy mommy now. He doesn't see mommy crying on the stairs like he did when he was 2 and 3, right?
So how long did you search?
We only did a week. We did a full week of just non-stop. And because it was nonstop, I went from Alpha Bravo Charlie, and I was shifted between every single unit. So if they were kicking a door, there was a woman, okay, then I would go over there. And then if they would kick and wait, and then they would go, okay, wait, we got women and kids. They put them in a room, and then they would wait for me to come over here, and then I would search over here, and then be the same sort of thing over here. But there's not many of us. So you're used a lot. And so...
How do you get along with the Brits?
I love them.
How come?
They didn't question me. They didn't make me feel like I needed to prove myself. I was handed to them, and they said, do you know what you're doing? And I said, probably better than some of you. And because I immediately fired back and didn't just cower into my shell, they're like, oh, she's lippy, is she? And then they started calling me the C word in a good way. And I was excited about that, because I was like, oh, I'm starting to be one of these people. Okay. Okay, I can do this. And then...
You're still only about 19 at this time?
Yeah, I was 19 the whole time. Yeah. Yeah. And it was just, they respected me. If I said stop, everyone stopped. They weren't like, oh, why should we stop? They were like, stop. Vern said stop. Something felt wrong. And so they respected me. And so I got on with them just fine. And it was really lovely. I had South Africans, English, Irish, who else? Fijians. And they were just this amazing, eclectic group of people. And they all just were good with me there. There was no questioning it at all. No one was weird. No one pulled any sexual stuff. No one said anything offside that I considered offside. It was a really respectful relationship, and I liked it. So when they respected me, I was happy to be there. And so we were out, and we were all on hold. There was a road to clear. And I had my back up against a wall, and on the right-hand side, there was a road, and then there was another compound, and then they had a second story on that. So we put a sniper up on the roof and a spotter over there, and we had some guys over here waiting. Then we had all of us up against the wall, and we had an interpreter beside me. And then just down the road, there was a road, and it kind of went from a big open field on the right-hand side, and then off the road was like a deep ditch, but it was like super green in that ditch, like really tall trees. People don't think Afghan is like really green, but it shockingly is. And then at the end of it, there was this massive grape hut. And they're like, okay, we want to clear that before we go down this road. So,
what did you call it?
A grape hut.
And what's that?
So essentially, it's like a mud hut with a bunch of holes in it. So if you hang things through it, it aerates, so it'll dry things in there.
I see.
And so we sent 2 guys out. And one had a metal detector, and one was a machine gunner. And he was just going to watch his back. And so everyone's kind of watching this massive open area. And it got weirdly quiet. And that's never a comfortable feeling. And so we're just sitting there hanging out. I actually have a photo right before it. Somebody took a photo of me, and I'm smiling like this. Like it's like one of my only photos from outside the wire. And next thing you know, you just heard this like, boom, and the whole ground just like moved, and I whipped my head to the left. And you saw one of our guys, what was left of him, just boom. And my eyes...
This was the guy with the metal detector and the machine gunner?
Yeah, the machine gunner was sitting at the door, so the blast hit him to the left side, and it ripped his kid off, shredded his arm, down his body, took his whole helmet. Like, I didn't understand how that happened, but like, everything was off of his body. Like, that's Velcroed on and like clicked in. I didn't understand. Like, what I just witnessed, I couldn't understand. I can't stress to you how foreign, there was no like... I didn't get it. I didn't realize what I was seeing. And to the left of me, all you heard was the ICOM radio, which is this radio that the interpreters have when it's really clear. we can hear the Taliban, right? That's how we kind of like wiretap the Taliban. And so when it got really clear, they were close. The signal was good. And it was crystal clear because they like to watch, right? They like to watch you blow up, videotape it, and use it for propaganda. And they're always watching, and we know that. And so they did it, and all you hear is, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. And I'll remember that to the day I die. And like the level of rage that I did not know that could exist in a human being just overtook my entire body. And I looked over at Buchanan and I said, we need to run. And he goes, wait. And they all had radios. I didn't have radios. So I could just hear people screaming over radios. And then next thing you know, it just got chaotic quick. They're like, okay, go, 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 go. Like, I'm not supposed to be in this position. This is not my job. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just doing what I'm told. Run, run, got it, autopilot on. So we jump down and we start running, and I'm over with the medic, and one of the guys the machine gunner comes running down, and he's like, I got him. Like, he's taping him up, and he's just saying, where's so-and-so, where's so-and-so? And he's kind of like right out of it. And he just like hits him with morphine, and they get him off, and they're like, go. And so we start jumping into that ditch that hadn't been cleared, and we just start running. And the only way I can describe it is if you listen to a movie and it's like a slow motion and you're in that black tunnel, and it's just like, all you can hear is like, and you're running and running, and you can't go like fast. And I'm running I had like 60 pounds of kit on me at the time, like a gazelle. Like, I'm just sprinting as fast as I can. We get to the road, and they're like, on 3, run. And we're like, 1, 2, 3. And we run across the road, and we walk in. And there's some other guys that are in there, and they look around, and I look around, and it's like, I hate that I said it, but I was just kind of like, where is he? Because I literally had no idea what just happened. And they're like, what's left is left. Start grabbing things. And I didn't have gloves on at the time, so we started with evidence bags, just putting body pieces into bags. Just over and over, and I was grabbing.
This was the man with the metal detector?
Yeah, what was left of him. And so we're doing that, and then there was a boot. He must have like hit it with his foot or the metal detector, but there was a big improvised explosive device at the back end of that grape hut, and he must have hit it, and it set it off. And so his boot was still in there with part of his leg, but it was laced up. And dark humor, boot's okay. Mm-hmm. And one of my buddies just tapped me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Oi, Burns, good." And that was like the moment I felt like a dissociation happen. Mm-hmm. I called the light switch, but just like, we're done now. Bye. Mm-hmm. And I became the version of myself I was for a decade after that.